Welcome, loving souls, to this reading. If you're new, welcome to Pacific Tarot. I'm Regina, and if you're familiar with me, welcome back. I'm pleased to have you here supporting this reading and helping to generate the energy of the cards. So I'm going to start with a couple of oracle cards, as I often do. I have the present, past, and future laid out, and I will clarify with another tarot deck and finish off with a botanical inspirations, a kind of oracle deck that features flowers. So let's get started with this energy. I've been feeling a really strong desire to address what I feel is sometimes a disconnect between the spiritual community, or at least what I experience of it. I don't experience all aspects of spirituality or their communities naturally, but there often seems to be a reticence to address the real life social impact of austere rules, regulations, laws, and impact on individuals who are least able or most underserved. And I think that affects many of you in your lives, that there is real scarcity, real desperation at times to survive, to make ends meet. And I think that needs to be addressed. So I've started with the Crystal Spirit Oracle, the Carnelian. What a gorgeous card. Number 14 is the card of Temperance. So this is telling me again about a long-term healing trajectory, a long-term strategy that you have used to deal with uncertainty, or a way to make things happen in your life when you need them to. It shows a lot of courage on your part. And I'm going to read from the guidebook. And Carnelian, rising above the fray is much easier when you feel confident in your strength and know that the conscious universe is lighting the path for you. There's no shame in feeling unsure as you leave behind the familiar. The Carnelian spirit is here to help you grow your confidence so that you can experience dignity and poise, even when it's unclear, even when it is clear that you are imperfect and not completely certain of what step to take next. You've come so far and grown so much. Give yourself credit and know that you make the best decisions for the good of all when you feel self-assured, because you're connected to the universe. You're co-creator at all times. You are awake and alert, heeding the signs that guide you on the healing path, so hold your head high. This is absolutely beautiful encouragement for those that I am specifically sensing are needing this message right now. It doesn't require your perfection. You're doing everything correctly, and I do think that's sometimes a confusion that many of us hold, that you have to be perfect or right or good in order to experience what is good for you. And so I think this admits to our humanity, our flawed experiences, and our really desperation at trying to make our way sometimes in a very hostile world, or a world that can be very hostile. And from the wild unknown archetype, I pulled the cave. And I'm going to read that also from the guidebook, because this is really about that deep space that you are getting really cozy and comfortable with, that portal that you recognize is taking you to a different level of awareness. Those who persevere and journey to find and enter the cave are forever changed. It's a place of potent power, acting as a portal to another realm and a space for sacred ritual and initiation. The cave is a place to return for meaningful retreat where one can see the true self in the darkness. In esoteric teachings, the cave is known to reside in the center of the heart. Within its walls, the whispers of compassion and self-understanding can be heard. Yet because of its mystery and power, many of us fear the cave and never try to find it. We busy ourselves in the bright lights of the city while the cavernous and dimly lit chamber calls out to us in the night. You already know. Return to it and tend the fire. Lovely. So, yeah, this feels like it's speaking to those of you that are fairly deeply entrenched in some kind of healing or some kind of conscious awareness that is being illuminated, some new light, some new level of understanding, self-understanding for sure, but greater understanding of humankind and what is needed in the world. And I feel that you're resonating with this, and this is what is empowering your courage, your energy, the willingness to just go for it, even without understanding it in detail, and just sensing that this is what you're here to do. Particularly as I think it gets hard. Sometimes we think of it as being tested, but I think it's more than that. I think that it's supposed to be difficult. I don't know why I said that, but I did. And I'm not going to try to unsay it. I just am going to leave it there, and perhaps more of the reading will reveal what is meant by that. So for your present energy, we have the Lady of Swords and the Lady of Cups. This is the Queens of Swords and Cups. Your head and your heart. I like this because it doesn't feel to me like a rivalry. It feels like a process of clarity and illumination. In other words, for many of you, you had to be introduced to many of these ideas you could instantly vibe with before you could do the work of opening up your heart. The heart is a more sacred, perhaps for many of you, shut down or betrayed space in your life, and operates in a different way, in a different language than thoughts, ideas, the way we speak, the languages we use, which are generally more accessible to us, particularly those of you that are educated or well educated. There's a whole language and field of inquiry that touches on the realms of uh, philosophy and spirituality that were open to you, or that you gained an insight or illumination to along the way in your coming of age, your formative years, even in your home life. But actually applying those ideas, implementing those thoughts into your experience, your emotional experience, allowing your emotional experience to flavor your thoughts worked. I'm thinking, I'm sensing in a different way for you. So this irrepressible emotionality that many of you have, no matter how educated you are, there's a way in which you can speak up, speak out, fight back, push back, was always a part of a very elegant inquiry path, a way that you very patiently could follow thoughts, complex thinking, and still be left with an emotional response. And that, I believe, although it has been judged as an inappropriate way to respond intellectually or academically, we're usually marked down significantly for that. I think you've understood over time this is the gift that you are meant to apply to your own emotional intelligence. And that intelligence and emotions are of a piece. And so this is a way in which you have moved into your own heart, your own feelings, your own experiences, and what they generated for you. In the past, the Magician. Interesting, because what I'm getting is that many of you have created something, certainly a business, a relationship, a family, a job, a position that expresses who you are and communicates something very powerful about who you are. But what I'm getting more for most of you is that you've created a practice. This practice threads through all of your activities, your home, your job, your work, your community, because you were born with a very clear sense of what was right, and of the necessity. It doesn't feel like a choice here. The necessity to speak your mind, to speak out about your thoughts, to say what needs to be said or what was unspoken. So this feels like an aspect of your life's experience that is activated right now. You are saying something that needs to be said. You're sharing information that others can identify as a part of their own process or understanding of the world. And this feels as though this same practice is something that has flown through your life, wherever you are in your life. This practice, it may be a literally spiritual practice, a meditation. For many of you, I believe it is a creative practice that kind of blurs the lines between creativity, imagination, and spirituality. So they're all going together. There's also a playfulness in this energy that no matter how right or important it is, one needn't take it too seriously. One can play with it. One can be open about it. It doesn't exclude different opinions or experiences. It includes them so that this actually feels as much like a dialogue or a conversation that is your practice. It's a practice you're internalizing and applying to every aspect of your life. In the future, Hierophant. Wow. Okay. So I do feel like the element of being a portal, sharing a key, creating a key, offering a key to others to gain the information you've had access to. And someone used the words recently, radical accessibility. I believe that's part of your playful approach to what practice or thing you are building or creating. It is about radical accessibility. This is about being available to anyone who wants or needs it, anyone who asks for it, not hiding this away, not just for special people. This is about you opening doors for others, for anyone who asks, for anyone who's curious. They don't need to be committed in the way that you are, because you understand it is the process of learning itself that will help them to understand what they ultimately are committing to. And I often think of this card as being about the learning process, being committed to uh, uh, spirituality or growth as a principle. And one of the principles of life on earth in all aspects is change. And this is about being aware of changes that we want to make, that we commit to make, that we know must be made. And enlisting others in that effort is part of what the Hierophant can provide. So, if this reading is resonating with you so far, please like this video and subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. It helps me stay here, and I deeply appreciate your being here and contributing. So I'm going to clarify with 2 cards, the Magician card in the past, with 2 cards, the Lady of Cups and the Lady of Swords. 2 cards, please. And for the Hierophant, 2 cards in the future, 2 cards. Okay. So, in the past, let me make this look a little bit prettier, because I have Virgo in the midheaven, so I like tidy, I like neat. So in the past, the Magician is clarified by the 3 of Swords and the 2 of Wands. I do feel that you are in a place of applying incredible attention to patterns that you recognize you have enacted that led to failures and disappointments. And that process is overturning a way in which you may have blamed others for the same failures or disappointments that you've experienced in the past. So you're looking very carefully at how you identify those patterns, how you take responsibility for the realities that you produced in participating in those, and how you chose those situations that you already knew were going to end up a certain way. It's like dating the same person, the same boyfriend or the same girlfriend over and over again and getting the same result. That's pretty crass example, but this is what I'm speaking about. But at this time, you're looking at that, you're looking at your habit, you're aware that you can't make those choices anymore. You just can't. You can't set yourself up to fail or be disappointed again. You can't break your own heart yet again. Most likely, you can't withstand it. But what I'm seeing here is 1, 2, and 3. So this acknowledgement, this conviction that you must be aware, you must plan, you must project with the information you have now about who you are and what you've done in the past and the results that that has produced. So now I feel that you're at a place where you simply observe this. You have retooled your own forgiveness process. In other words, believing you had released this cycle as a result of being aware of the difficulties and heartbreak that it produced. You believed that you had healed it from it. However, you are more aware now that really simply identifying it and identifying the negative feelings that those disappointments or failures produced is only part way of releasing this process, this cycle. And this may be a behavior of years, of decades for some of you. But now you're understanding that that's only the beginning of the process to see it. The other part of letting it go is surrendering, of not fighting it, of accepting that you learned some lessons along the way. But it is essential that you release that with love. Love of your conviction for what is right, for what is enlightening, for what has increased your awareness, what has made you conscious, the love that you now recognize as the operative force in all that you do that is well in the world. So I think this is causing you some pause right now to move away from your biology. And biology, I mean the way we embody bad choices, we suck up heartache, we stop deluding ourselves with romantic fantasies about our partners or what our relationships have been, the meaning of individuals who ultimately failed us or we failed them, and really look at the way that you can release those experiences with a sense of love, with a sense of compassion, with a sense of true understanding and acceptance of yourself as flawed, as human in the present. The queens, the swords, and the cups are clarified by the Page of Cups and the Five of Pentacles. So this is interesting because I'm feeling this really almost elemental energy of a young, innocent, I should say innocent soul, childlike soul that can see and vibe with energies at very many levels, can see spirits, dwarves, the fae, any kind of energy that is out there available to basically assist human beings. They're not all benevolent. However, that clarity, that sight that you have actually has limited your prospects in the real world in terms of making it difficult for you to go along with the status quo, go along with the way things are supposed to be. And this has been part of the way in which you may have used your intellect to help you find answers. And ultimately, I think for many of you, you have found some creative way to express that other vision you have. And I love the word other visions. That was the name of a dear friend's business, of his lifetime artistic practice. And it was extremely inclusive at a time when we in this culture tend to think of ourselves in a very monotone or monotonous way. And I think that's something you've struggled with. How can you be diverse? How can you explore the myriad of possibilities in the world and still comply, still be a part, be in lockstep with the way it's supposed to be, accepting and enjoying what has been assigned to you in whatever way you experience that. So I feel like this is confirming the sense that I have that many of you are struggling with your material existence, your ability to survive, to make things meet, being the person that you are, being the open person that you naturally are. And I feel that you already know the way through that, as I spoke earlier of a practice that exists in your life that comes out of this place of your heart, your imagination, your creativity, and it infiltrates everything that you do. Even if it helps you to accept the physical or material limitations you experience, that in and of itself is a positive thing until you get to the other side. And in the future, it appears that the other side, The Hierophant is clarified by the Ten of Swords and the Seven of Wands. So this is, wow, showing me this incredible purging that you are experiencing. You've already released the feelings and the beliefs, the thoughts, the standards, the expectations of others, and you've already been skewered by that, you could say. But I think that the impact, the resonance on your being from truly exercising these beliefs is still with you. And this is what's taking the most strength, the deepest commitment to whatever spiritual or well-being practice you have. Because this is, by degrees, eliminating relationships, situations, affiliations, places, habits that you never knew were even a part of who you were. And you've had to become aware. You've had to become clear about your truth. And as to that end, you are actually sitting in a place of clarity about what your practice, what your healing journey is producing in your life, what your life looks like as a result of your commitment to serving others, to helping others. And it feels as though illusions have been cast off, that all the illumination you're experiencing is towards what no longer works for you. And therefore, your belief, your faith in your ability to move forward in a powerful way is pulled at, has to fuel this incredible surrender that you're experiencing. So you are evaluating how you've invested in yourself, what works, what doesn't work, and how you can do this with less effort, how you can be productive without the kind of tension and strain that I feel many of you are experiencing, this kind of anxiety that exists in our social worlds. It's a way that you are countering that, but it takes a lot of work, and it is pulling at you in deep ways, particularly as this is about your history, your family. It can be about your ancestry. It can be about generational healing for sure. But it can also be about the uncomfortable things you experienced in a life where you also gained a lot of experience and power through your service. So it wasn't all smooth. There are always challenges, right? So I'm going to finish this reading with a botanical inspiration. Ooh, two popped out, but I'll take them both. And I saw the asters first, and that is elegance and patience. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Lao Tzu. This is perfect right here. I like this for your future. And for the sweet William, I have to say these asters look quite luscious, don't they? For the sweet William, the key word is gallantry. Grant me a single smile. Sweet William, small, has form and aspect bright, like that sweet flower that yields great Jove delight. And Jove here, I believe, is Jupiter, the planet Jupiter, or Zeus, right? Or God. Sweet William, small, has form and aspect bright, like that sweet flower that yields great Jove delight. Well, this may be about the lightness, the playfulness that I just feel is an aspect of your practice, your lifestyle, your personality, that in part insulates you from the heavy weight of the tasks you have undertaken in this life. So thank you so much for this reading. Until next time, namaste.